What's going on, people? And welcome back to the channel. Today, we unfortunately got a Manchester United fan rather than the Liverpool fan we had on last week. It's a pleasure to invite Dev to the channel. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm doing well. We are just saying off cam, like staying up to watch these games is hard work, but I've got a new appreciation for like the United fans in like India and America who stay up to watch like Amarim like for the last for the first half of last season. So no, it's been good, mate. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I probably look a bit more tired than I normally do, trying to stay up these burns, but yeah, it's good, isn't it? I think it does give you an appreciation, I think, for the fans abroad and stuff like that, because they have unbelievable commitment to United throughout the season.
Mm,
And we don't really think about that, do we, in the UK? It's
no,
just, right, just watch the game when it's on. So,
yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
it's good. Um, yeah, just, I think the best place to start, being Manchester United fans, is the announcement of the all or
Mm,
nothing of Amazon Prime. Obviously, it was kind of out on the blue yesterday in terms of breaking news, but it's something I've probably been expecting to come at Manchester United for a few years now.
mm.
See, it was mentioned last year and turned down for whatever reason, but it has been agreed that United will be filming from this summer. What's your thoughts? What's your initial feeling?
Yeah, you're right though, because they said it was probably last season and the season before where both sets of coaches pushed back on it. So I think even back then we were set for like the most Amazon had ever paid out for a documentary, and now we're the most any documentary has ever paid out for any football club. So it was right to wait if that's the case. People saying, 10 million, 12 million quid isn't a lot. Well, it's not a lot in transfers, but in commercial revenue, it's a big amount of money. So I can understand why they've done it. I think the issue I've got is naturally it just throws a bit of unnecessary pressure on Carrick, the players. Some players might like it. I think players like Bruno, Cunha, in Burmo, these professional ones who've got nothing to hide, I think they'll like it. I don't see why not. And I think we've run out some of the egos there that aren't going to be taking it away with them. Like if a Garnacho was still there, or if, you know, Onana, I think will be gone by then. Rashford will probably be gone by then. They're not on the same level, but like I think anyone who could cause a bit of an issue is probably gone by now. So like Sancho as an example. So yeah, that's good on that side. I think it was always going to happen at some point. And I don't think this is a Glazer choice because it sounds like something they wouldn't really want. So it's showing me that all right, the powers that be are shifted more towards where we want it to be, maybe. But it's, I mean, I don't know if you're the same, but like even when Arsenal were in the Champions League final, winning Premier League, like I still quote the documentary. I still take the piss out of him for what like Arteta said. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have memes. We're gonna have issues. Like it's not gonna be like Man City where they do one and no one watches it because no one cares. Like
Yeah.
everyone's gonna watch it. Everyone's gonna nitpick. Everyone's gonna hate it. So I think we got the right manager for it. Whether he stays the whole season, who knows? Like, but it's I'm looking forward to it because I think it will pull the veil back a bit. But I'm hoping we get the transparency we want because they're still going to control the narrative in it. Like if you've watched I've watched all of them. Like if you've watched the Newcastle one, it's terrible. The City one, I couldn't
Yeah.
even sit through it. But then Tottenham and Spurs were perfect because the people spoke who you wanted to speak. So if we do that, then cool. And if the Glazers speak, which I doubt it, if they feature in it at all, or any spokesperson for them, I think it's one step closer to getting them out. So I'm all for it, but we need to win a trophy at least, like this summer, this season, to make it worth it, in my opinion.
It's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because my first thought on it was in terms of the pressure that it puts on the players, and that's been kind of one of the main arguments is that it's putting unnecessary pressure on Carrick on the players. For me, I looked at it and said, "You're playing for Manchester United. Ultimately, you should be able to deal with that." Um,
Mm,
Probably unwanted at the time because I think when City did it, they were Pep Guardiola had been there a couple of years. He was kind of settled. He had his players. Whereas now it's obviously Carrick's first season. We're rebuilding. We're trying to do this and sort the finances out. So maybe the timing's a little bit strange. You could have maybe seen it right
yeah,
if the really good season this year, we could have done it next season. So I think that dynamic on it is interesting.
yeah,
But I can't wait because I love all of that behind the scenes content.
mm,
When United do a sit down talk, or if they did one with Barada recently,
yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah,
the content in terms of
yeah,
seeing the senior leaders, seeing the players talk about the changing rooms or who plays the music or whatever it might be. For
Yeah,
me as a fan, I love seeing stuff like that.
yeah.
It, it is an interesting dynamic. What's the one key thing you want to get out of it? For me, I really want to see something about the Glazers. I want to see
Mm,
them involved in it because I think it's almost impossible to not involve them in some way. You think of the Tottenham one. I think Pochettino got sacked halfway
mm,
through that, and they
yeah.
just kind of glazed over it, and Mourinho was all of a sudden there. So what are you wanting to get out of it?
You know, with the Tottenham one is interesting because I look back at that and I think like, for the sake of the documentary, I'm glad they got Mourinho because I don't know how what other manager would welcome it and also be good, like, to watch and be good insight, while keeping his cards close to his chest. So if it ends up like that where Carrick doesn't make it, which is a very fair possibility, then it's like you're gonna have to bring another manager who is accepting of the pressures, accepting of that, because Arteta, didn't he joined halfway through his documentary, I think, because Emery was the
Yeah,
manager first. And it's like it takes kind of a special person to be okay with all of that. I think the one thing, as you were talking, I was just thinking, and I said this before, but Sir Alex wouldn't allow that. So and I know it's a new age, but we've gone from United as a closed shop to opening it up completely, and I'm not entirely happy with the direction of that. But it's all in the idea of transparency. So provided we get it, like I don't need to know. We're not going to know the ins and outs of everything, but I want to know who's making what decision. That's it. Because we're all speculating at the minute, and I think probably one of the reasons they think it's all right to do it, because I was quite vocal in supporting Ineos when they were making cutbacks on jobs and things like that. Not because it was making people redundant. That's not the point. It was they shouldn't really. It was bloated in the first place. Like, we were employing 25, 35% more people in each department than an Arsenal, a City, and a Chelsea,
yeah,
without having the success, or without having the success at that time. So it was kind of horses for courses. So I'm hoping it shows actually what the day-to-day life at United is like, for better or worse, because Sunderland Till I Die did it, and you could tell people weren't happy, and you could feel them getting happier as it went on. So I hope we get that. But I just feel like this might be the most sanitized one that we've seen, because United is just too big and you can't mess with it. So I'll be interested, but give me that transparency, because I think Berard has been really good with it. I think Wilcox has been good. Not happy with some of his decisions, but no one's going to be totally happy. And the Glazers will never speak. We'll never hear from Joel or Avram or the sisters or whoever they are. But I hope it just puts a bit of pressure on them, like a bit more. But probably saying that out loud, really, if the people on screen are Ineos, people are immediately going to throw the bus at Ineos again, and I think the Glazers
yeah,
might get off. So if they do it well, then this could be like a masterstroke of Ineos done it, because it's a way to frame them in a different way, and a way to like, if they pull it off, it could piss the Glazers off within a year. Like, it could
yeah.
accelerate it, but or it could just act as an even bigger smokescreen. So it's such a big risk, and I feel like it's a very unnecessary one at this time. But we could be sitting here from a year from now thinking that was amazing, and we got to see it all. F the Glazers, get them gone. So who knows? Like, genuinely, who knows? But I think we all want to see it. Like, everyone's going to watch it, aren't they? But it's like, would Real Madrid do it? Probably not. That's where I'm torn. I'm just so torn on it.
It's high risk, high reward, isn't it? Because I've said in my first video about it that if Manchester United somehow win the Premier League or the Champions League or
Mm,
even an FA Cup, that will be the most amazing documentary that you could have
yeah.
as a United fan. Because the 99 documentary is
Mm,
brilliant, but it's not it's not cut by Amazon, it's not edited, it's not refined. Um, but then also on the other side, if we have a season like we started last season, it could be one
exactly.
of the worst things to happen to
Yeah.
the club. Um,
Uh, People are
I
gonna have
thought,
to answer for it, though. Either way, like, someone's gonna have to answer for however it goes. So that's the positive angle of it. Because I think with us as well, there's nowhere to hide. So now you lay it all bare for us. Like, you've opened yourself up to all the criticism you're going to get. So if you want to open the shop and let us see what you're doing, then you got to be angry with the customer's always right, isn't it? So you got to show us like what's going to happen. So nah, it's going to be really interesting, and it's not going to be like City's All or Nothing or Newcastle's We Are Newcastle crap, which was just terrible. Like that was
Yeah.
all sanitized from the ownership. You could just tell. It will be like an Arsenal, it'll be like a Tottenham or a Sunderland till I die. It will be hard hitting. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think like some of the players, again, if we did this last season, Jesus, not just because of the players, but like if Garnacho, Hoyland, and Rashford and Onana were there, like it would just been horrible. So I think we've got the right sort of professionals going in to the club at least. And it's going to be a big summer. I think it'll be the biggest summer that we've had in the last decade if we get it right. So be interested to see how those deals come together as well.
Yeah, I suppose on that we'll have a chat about some transfers in a minute. But do you think it puts any pressure on them to get the deals right this summer?
Oh
Do you
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's any incentive
Million,
to?
mate, 1,000,000%. You've seen Sunderland till I die, haven't you? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can vaguely remember it, but I definitely
Okay.
watched it. Yeah,
So, so season two, I remember it was they were trying to get a striker. They lost Josh Madger or someone in the like towards the end of the window, trying to get a striker in, and they got bullied and bullied and bullied, and they overpaid for Will Grigg. Like the whole Will Grigg's on fire. Like all of that happened, and it's like Will Grigg flopped, and he was terrible at Sunderland. And it's like that's what your tenure's remembered for. Like no one
yeah,
talks about financially what you did, like to actually help the club, like actually how much money you put in and all this. They just your most record striker, biggest record signing in League One was a flop because you didn't order your pizzas on time and you left it to the last minute. Like that's what that could lead to. So I think for them, like let's be honest, last season was perfect. I've got no notes on last season. I thought it was like to finish 15th and get that summer, I thought was outstanding. So if they
yeah,
can finish third, the money with that Champions League, this Amazon documentary, all this stuff, and then get we've already got Edison, which I think is a good signing, but not outstanding, but I think is a good one to make. If we get some of the names we'll probably talk about, then absolutely, they're going to have to. And I think if Wilcox is looking at socials and looking at what fans thinking of him, he's already operating on a bit of a shoestring, and like we're not giving him much slack. So he's going to have to do really, really well. And I think like Barada and Vival, it'd be interesting to see where they come into it as well, because none of us know. We're all just going on Wilcox at the minute, but there's
yeah,
clearly more to it. So yeah, to answer your question, 1,000,000% they have to get it right. 1,000,000%.
yeah, yeah. I think it's a really interesting dynamic. I think Munoz wouldn't have opened the doors if they didn't feel they were set up in the right way
Exactly.
and wanted it to look shambolic in any way.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see the dynamic between Wilcox, Vivel, Barada, and
Mm.
also I want to see how they communicate with Ratcliffe and how
Yeah.
he communicates back, because I think it's everyone looks in and says, look a little bit more organised than what we did maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. But what's the dynamic? Who's doing what? Who's responsible for what? Because they've all got these wonderful big titles, but
Mm.
I'm not entirely sure who's dealing with what element of
Yeah.
transfer or recruitment or whatever it might be. So I think that's going to be the most interesting
Yeah.
part for me.
Yeah.
But in terms of transfers, then there's so much going on at United. As always, every summer there's always noise. There's always names that you know for a fact aren't going to sign. There's names that we might be scouting for months and months and months. There's some of this, I think we'll work backwards. So if we start with where we're at currently, the Edison deal, that's all but done. I think he's
Yeah.
apparently done a medical out in the USA this week, whether that's true or not, but that feels like it's going to be confirmed soon. What was you thinking on that?
No issues really. I mean, the numbers that they're talking about is like it's a cheapish deal for a player that's like in his prime. Like I think the one thing that put my mind at ease is that all the journalists in Serie A were actually coming out and saying this is a player that United will like, and they said the same thing about Ahmad, didn't say the same thing about Hoyland, didn't say the same thing about Onana. So it's like okay, like at least it seems like we've got a player who, and I mentioned this in a breakdown I did on him, but he knows who he is. Like you're not buying this young kid like an Ugarte, for an example, a younger version of a player who has to come in, adjust, and have all the eyes on you and don't get any time on the ball, and you have to just. It takes a special player to do that, which is why I've got no airs or graces about Ugarte not working out because that's a tough role because he was the only one doing it on his own, really. So, and Casemiro, even with all his experience, looked terrible for half his United career, but managed to bring it back. So it's not an easy job to do. And I think one thing Carrick is looking to do is probably go down the route of like good technical players rather than like you do this, you do that. It's like everyone kind of chips in, which I think is the right way to do it. But Edison, like he's good going forward, he's good going back, he's very tenacious, good engine on him, and he's got that Brazilian sort of like, doggedness, South American flair to him. So I don't see why not. But for me, it was always about the package. Like it's what 40 million euros altogether, like with
Yeah,
add-ons potentially. And frankly, add-ons I don't care about because if you're good enough, you get them. So if you get them, fine. But with the wage, like Casemiro was on 300k, was he 300k a week? And
yeah, I think it
this
was.
guy is coming on at 75, 80. So if we're saying that, it's like one, it's like he's clearly not you know, we're not spending the way that we used to, which is good. We're not throwing like stupid money at wages anymore. But also, it means probably there's a lot more wages to go to a lot more players. So that is good for United, and also just to get him done early, I think is really important. He's gone there with Casemiro at the World Cup, which is invaluable experience to him, and he's gone
Yeah,
there with Cunha there. So I think to go there with the two professionals that every United fan loves at the World Cup with Brazil, your first ever tournament, we couldn't have timed that any better. So I think that's a really good signing. I don't know as a player if he's like gonna fix us. In fact, I know he won't, but it's a good start. I think it's a really good start.
yeah, it's an interest. I think I was overly critical about it to start with because I always get a bit reactionary. So when that's the first name, and you haven't got your other signings, you haven't got your marquee signings as such. I was looking at it and thinking, I don't like you say, he's not going to instantly take Manchester United to a title or anything like that. So I was a little bit downplaying what he was going to do for United. But then when I look back with hindsight, like you say, the value,
Mm,
considering some of the market values that have been thrown around for some of the players this summer, the wage, the experience that he's got, I think it probably will turn out to be a good deal. I don't think he's going to be revolutionary in any way, but
yeah,
he's going to come in, he's going to fill out the squad. And I think the worst thing at United last year was that drop off. When you took Casemiro off and you brought Agate into the team,
yeah,
the drop was so stark and you could just see it happening in front of your eyes. Whereas I
mm,
think Edison going onto the pitch, there's no dramas. Yes, he might not
no,
create a goal or score a goal, but ultimately he's going to do his job and he'll cut around the
yeah.
pitch and do what he needs to do.
Yeah,
Um,
he just has to come in and do exactly the opposite of what Ugarte did. Like Ugarte took everything so personally, which was really irritating. Like I think with us, like every United fan knows this. You show us 5%, we'll give you 100 back. Like it just is that way. So Casemiro started a little uplift, and we forgot about the previous year where he was terrible, where he came back overweight, couldn't string a pass together. We forgot. We've now forgotten player. Like if I say to you, was Casemiro a good signing? Most people would say yeah, but the man was on
yeah,
300k a week at 70 million quid. It wasn't a good signing as a deal, but he was a great guy to have around and a really good player, good example with a really nice end to the season. That's it. That's all he gets. But like it's all about how you conduct yourself. And Ugarte, the reason it irritates me so much is because like we wanted that type of dogged player, but he let that get to him in every opposite way that it should have. Like if you go and close your man down, if you go and kiss the badge, if you do everything that Casemiro was doing right next to you, we're gonna love you no matter what. Like fans still love Fred, even though he was not right for the role and we paid so much money for him. We've forgotten how much we paid because he still gave us everything he had, and you can see that Ugarte isn't doing that, and he's running around desperately. So get him gone. I mean, it's time. Like he's had enough of a chance. Like get him gone, and all the best to him. And I think he'll do well in a different league. He will, and he was doing well at PSG and doing well at Sporting. But yeah, I think the Edison, like if you come in and don't hit the ground running, just come in, do the simple stuff well, show how much you love us, we'll back you 100%, and that will just fold onto each other. And then I think he'll probably outperform himself at times if he can just get that mental bit right.
that's the thing, isn't it? I think it snowballs. If you get the fans on side at Old Trafford, you're
Yeah,
on to a win already,
that's
aren't
it.
you? So that's the way to go. I think The interesting thing is how we package this up now, because I've always looked at that midfield and said we need three players in there.
Yeah, I agree.
We've got one over the line. It looks like Mateus Fernandez is going to be next over the line. I'm interested about the dynamic of that third player, because there's been
Mhm.
so many rumours about Alex Scott or Chouamani's been mentioned, which is a player I would definitely love Manchester United to go out and sign.
Mhm.
Um, where do how do you think it kind of all comes together? Because I think there's going to be a bit of a break now whilst the World Cup's on.
Yeah.
How do you think we're going to kind of navigate this next few weeks, and where do you think we're going to go?
Yeah, good question. Like, to be fair, like, I think Mateus Fernandez is the one to get over the line because I've been singing his praises since November. Really, I think he's top. I don't subscribe to this idea he's been relegated and all this. Well, so is Robertson, so is Joe Cole, so is Roy Keane. I don't subscribe to it. I think this guy is so talented, and he's like probably the best sort of like technical and physical player all packaged into one at the minute. And West Ham will not get that money. So, in lead up to the answer to the question, West Ham are not going to get that money. The most expensive player that got sold from a relegated team is like 50 million quid, something like that. Tyler Dibbling, they wanted 100, settled on 40. Like, they're not going to get the money that they want. He'll come for around 40 to 50 million as an initial fee, and whatever the package is, the package is. Because again, if he achieves it, he's been worth it. But I think he'll be there, and that leaves us with an Edison, a Cobby, and him. Most likely Mason Mount, because we're not going to let him. He's not going to leave, and he's probably going to drop deep. Like, and I don't really mind that. And when we need to unlock low blocks, I haven't got an issue with Mason Mount there because he's not quite good enough to hit the front three, but he can hit
Yeah.
the middle three. That's fine, especially if we're playing against like a I don't know Hull City next season who are just going to park the bus. Like, yeah, stick Mason on it, but. I think for me, like I'm kind of in agreement with you in that, like it would be nice to see a Chouameni walk through the door, but I still have that element of Edison, Mateus Fernandez, Cobby. That's still not really a platform for someone to just come in and shine all of a sudden. Like it's kind of reminds me of the the Matic, Herrera, Pogba situation that we had, and then we threw a Bruno into the mix. Like I think we're not really set up to have a singular type of midfielder just be that guy because
Yeah.
we never really have been. Because I know Sir Bobby's probably the only example, and you know Brian Robson, but it's like Roy Keane had the Nicky Butts, and then he had Paul Scholes, and then it's each of them worked with each other. And even though Nicky Butt was like the most average one, he still played all right. And like Carrick had his Fletcher, and like you still had sort of a similarity in profile with these players, and they weren't so massively different from one another. And then when we did throw a different one, like an Anderson or Veron into the mix, it didn't quite work. So I know it's
Yeah.
a different era, different system, whatever, but I don't think Carrick, being how he is, having played a defensive midfielder with the line breaking passes, playing as an 8, as a 6, like I don't think he's the kind of guy to just pigeonhole a midfielder into one area. So I think Ineos will want to safeguard themselves and say, you know what, Ugarte didn't work, so we're not just going to buy out and out dogs or out and out creators. We've got the creator in Bruno. We've got Edison to kind of do a bit of both. Cobby can sit and all these sorts of things. But I think he wants to go down the PSG model. And I see us going down the PSG model of just 3 or 4 highly technical, very all action, you know, impactful midfielders that just look out for each other. Because, I mean, if you go one on one against João Neves, you're not scared. But if you go one, like, but the point is you're never one on one because Vitinha's always
Yeah.
nearby. So I think that's where we're going to look to go. So I hope, honestly, that if we get Mateus Fernandez over the line, that's my number one pick. That's the one I want. After him, I love the idea of Alex Scott personally, and like Chouameni would be really cool to have. Would he be as impactful as people say? I'm not sure because I don't know where he would fit. So to answer your question, if you're going to get one profile and you've got a Mateus Fernandez and a Cobby and an Edison, maybe a more attacking outlet, maybe that can drive like a Lampard-esque drive into the box and make things happen. But I don't think we need that. I'd rather go down the Alex Scott sort of route or even look further afield. Like I know Buwadi had one good game at a World Cup. He's been brilliant all season. So is a Sangare a shout? Is a Buwadi a shout? Is Lamine Kamara a shout? We're going to see him today, I think, against France. So that's where I want it to go. And that's where I think Carrick wants it to go as well. Having never met him or spoke to him before, I just think that's probably what he'll want.
It's really interesting, is it? Because I always have in my mind that you need that number six, that kind of that one who stands there.
Yeah.
He gets on the ball, always the Rodri style player. But I don't think football's necessarily going that way. If you look at Arsenal's midfield, Zubimendi kind of does that and will get on the ball, but he's not that physical
Mm.
profile. Rice has the physical side, but he's a bit more of an eight, a box to box.
Yeah.
PSG are the prime example of that. I don't think you'll find anyone on the market like Coutinho because he is a sensational footballer.
Mm.
But can you get that out of Kobe? Can you say to Manu, right, you're the guy that goes and gets the ball and keeps us ticking over, and then Fernandez is the one who cuts about and gets forward and gets
Yeah.
involved when he needs to. It's really interesting, and I don't know where we're going to go. I've always had this feeling that Chouameni isn't as not done as what it could be. I feel like
Mm.
Jose Mourinho being at Real Madrid, if Enzo Fernandez goes to Real Madrid, I just see a way that Chouameni is the one to come
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, the one side of his game that I really like is the aerial side. Because
Yeah.
when you look at Kobe, when you look at Fernandez, when you look at Lissandro or potentially Lewis Hall coming in at that left back
Mm.
position,
Yeah. It's a
you,
small
you're
club, isn't it?
getting quite a lot of height
Yeah.
out of the team. And obviously Casemiro was elite in both boxes.
Yeah.
So for me, that will be the one side. I think Tchouameni's aerial duels is 99th percentile.
Yeah. It's
He's a good all-round footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a fantastic footballer. Like, you don't get to Real Madrid and be there as long as you have, but it's also just it's a noisy transfer. I don't know if it's just because we've been burned so many times. Every player is different, but there's been so much noise, and the one transfer window where there was no noise, we smashed it. Like last season, there was no noise around our transfers because we were smart, and it's like I dread to think what would happen if we brought Emi Martinez instead of Lamens, or even
Yeah.
if we bought Watkins instead of Seshko. Like, I don't think that was the right deal. So I'm really happy with how we did it last season, and I think we need to go down that route. As where it's kind of like if you're going to take a risk, you either mitigate it or you calculate it. So if you're mitigating Seshko, you've got Cunha and Burmo as the foils. They've got the experience, they've got the drive. They can help you, and they did. All of them got double figures goals and assists this season, so they clearly did that. But when Martinez just didn't make sense, you had Lamens because the data made sense. So Lamens was a big risk because there was nowhere to go without him. You had to go to Bayern, didn't you? So I'm glad he just worked out. But now it's like you brought in Edison, cool. But if you bring in Mateus Fernandez, again, you've got that Premier League experience, youth, like good physicality. He's had no injuries, like really, really good. So does that leave you enough space for a risk? I'm not quite sure yet. I think I'm of the opinion I'm a bit risk averse with our midfield at the minute because I think Bruno is still going to want to do what Bruno does, and he's already a risk in himself, but he's manageable. You allow that, and he will still track back. And I like the idea of Bruno, Mateus Fernandez, and like an Edison or a Kobe, like depending on who we're playing against. So I still want to see us go down that route. Chouameni just feels too noisy to me. I could be so wrong. I
Yeah.
very much could be wrong, but he's just too noisy, and I don't want. I like operating in the dark a bit, which isn't great with the fucking Amazon Prime thing. But like I like operating in the dark a little bit with transfers. So I hope we do that.
It's one of them. I'm very much. I look at the data behind these players, and Alex Scott, he stacks up well against a
He's
lot of
brilliant, yeah,
midfielders,
really good.
and he also passes the eye test when you watch him. He's brilliant under pressure, and in particular towards the end of the season, there's so many. He's got a bit of a like a De Jong style in terms
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
way the ball,
Languid. Yeah, yeah,
and I think that's a profile we probably haven't had for. I can't even think of a midfielder we've had in that type of style.
yeah.
Colby's a little bit like it, but a bit more aggressive with it. So I think he'd be a really nice
Yeah.
addition. And ultimately, we're just trying to fill up that position for me.
Mm,
If we'd gone out and got an Elliot Anderson, which is definitely not happening now,
no,
the
and I'm glad it's not happening. I don't think that's the right choice.
yeah, the valuation was way too high. You could get
Yeah,
two players for the price of that, which fundamentally raises your base. It's the
yeah,
floor isn't it, at the Manchester United that is the issue at the minute. So for
yeah.
me, a Scott, Fernandez, whoever it might be, someone from the French league as well might make sense in terms of a little bit
Happily
of a
take that.
risk.
Yeah,
30, 40 million. That could be the Lamens slash Dorgu type
yeah,
signing. It's just
And I
whether
don't see why not.
it's-
And I don't, yeah, and that's the thing. I just don't see why not. I know there's like Kante's an outlier. I understand that, but it's like I want a Jisung Park type signing. It's like where you look at someone and you get that feeling, and the data shows you like that era. Veron was the marquee, and he didn't catch fire, but Park did, and he stayed for like 8 odd years. So I want a signing like that. It's just someone who gets it and who is smart. So I don't think Chouameni is a smart signing. That's where and like today we announced, well, Athletic announced we're looking at Somerville. I don't think that's a smart signing. Like I want actual deals that make sense. So whether that's value or it's just like, okay, you can sort of look at it and be like, you thought outside the box. Mateus Fernandez is thinking outside the box. Edison's thinking outside the box a little bit. And I think we just need to get those deals done. Mateus Fernandez should get done in June. Like I'd want that to get done early.
yeah,
Whereas the other ones you can sort of wait and see how they stack up a little bit. We've still got some good academy prospects. I don't want this to stunt the growth of a Jim Thwaites, for example, who I think like Michael Carrick of all people will like him. Tyler Fletcher going to the World Cup, and I don't think he played. He might have played a little bit. I'm not sure, but we still got some good players knocking about. So I don't want to see us stunt their growth at the same time. But yeah, I just no noise. That's my argument for it. I just don't want any noise with it. And Chouameni sounds noisy.
yeah, yeah. I agree in a certain aspect. Yeah, on the Somerville then, because that's come out of the blue today.
Yeah,
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I think Somerville's played well against us before. I think he's
yeah, yeah,
looked. He's technical. He's jinky. He kind of gets in and out of players. But you look at the underlying in terms of output, he's more the Ahmad side rather than he is a Cunha or an Mbumo side.
yeah,
So he's not going to be a player that comes in and automatically guarantees you 10 goals like they
no,
probably did coming in last summer. But I also don't think that's the objective with a winger this summer. It's
yeah,
kind of fill out the squad, give us a bit of a different dynamic to
yeah.
a Doku or a Cunha. But 50 million is the report, isn't it?
I
It
don't, I
just,
don't, I don't get it. I don't see it. Like he's good. That's it. He's just good. Like I've seen when he played against us. Like yeah, he's having Dallo. All right, cool. I can name you about 6 other wingers who had Dallo. You know what I mean? No complete disrespect to him, but it's not as if you're going against Maldini, is it? And I don't see in the last 2 years at West Ham or 2 years with Leeds and West Ham, 15 goals and assists in 84 games. Like that's not
yeah,
impressive at all. And watching him, like okay, he can get out of tight spaces, he can wriggle out of tight spaces, he can make things, he can jink to one side and look all that. But I then watch him and I'm like, all right, take a step out. There's about 3 or 4 other players in a good position. Like you should be getting it. Cunha would pass it off, and Burma
yeah,
passes off and makes the run. Ahmad has started to do that, so that's not a plus point to me. And with respect to Jeremy Doku, I've never watched Jeremy Doku and thought that's a player I want. Just never.
yeah,
That's not who I want. I don't think Jenkins stopping on the ball and doing all these feints. It's I liked it when Ronaldo did it because he had power to him. But if Ronaldo, when he was a skinny, scrawny kid, I didn't like it because he had to grow up and be that. Crescencio Somerville is always going to be 5'9". He's always going to be that guy, and I think he's a very good player and good goal at the World Cup. Fine, some good goals in the Premier League, but it's like I want players. If you're going to build out the squad, they should be banging on the door.
yeah,
Crescencio Somerville is barely touching it really. Like if you say you're front three and you say Cunha and Burmo Seshko, he's not getting in. Ahmad is knocking on the door. Ahmad, you always say like, oh, and Burma's had a bad game, throw in Ahmad. You're like, you'd probably wait until late if Cunha's having a bad game to resort to Somerville. I don't
yeah,
see that being like the obvious like solution. So yeah, I just don't think it makes sense. And it's a bit of a convenient report. Again, it's a West Ham player. Again, he just scored at a World Cup. So I tried
well,
to take it with a pinch of salt, but as soon as Ornstein said it and Whitwell said it, I was like, oh, all right, we actually might be looking at him. But I,
yeah,
I mean, last season we looked at so many players and nothing came of it. With respect to Somerville, I hope this is the same. Like, he's not. I can think of about 5 other wingers in the Premier League who move me more than he does. Like, Iliman and Jai, perfect. Bring him in
yeah,
any cost. Like, he's fantastic. Great. 26 years old, amazing. And not even as like effective as in Burmo and Cunha, but takes games by the scruff of the neck and actually plays for the team. Totally understand. Like Mateus Mane, bit of a risk. Like that young profile, build him, cool. There's other wingers around, like Yan Diamonde would be more expensive, but looks a bit more direct. Ryan, Eli Krupi Jr., like wait for them, see how they get on. that's more exciting. Like, just Somerville just does not move me at all, and I'm not Edison. I can see Mateus Fernandez, love Somerville. Nah, I'm just not about it. I don't think it's a good signing at all.
No, that's the thing. I think it's if you're going to go out and spend that amount of money, it feels like to me it's either a left back or a left winger that we're going to
Yeah,
sign.
yeah,
So for me, I've been all over Lewis Hall this summer in
yeah,
terms of
yeah,
we need to go and get that deal done. If we can get Lewis Hall, we have to go and get it done. Whereas Somerville, or I'd love a NJ. I think he's exceptional to watch, and I think his game actually scales up quite well to
yeah.
United.
I
I
think
could
it'd be
imagine
brilliant.
him at Old Trafford, and everyone would be up on their feet
Yeah,
watching him because he's dynamic, he's raw. Somerville's kind of that, but not as exciting for
no,
whatever reason it might be. Um, so I think it's the left back position that's going to dictate who we go and sign in that left wing.
yeah,
Um, it's- for me, if we don't get Lewis Hall, we probably don't sign a left back. We just
yeah,
wait and reassess next summer.
yeah.
But what's your thinking about Lewis Hall? Are you as deep into him as what I am?
Probably not as deep, but I see why people like him. Like, he's a really, really good player. But I was always like, well, he's good. He's good. Like, I think I haven't looked at the underlying metrics with it, so I'm not going to go into detail with it. To be fair, but I think like he's very expensive for what he is, and like to have, is he one of them like Cunha and Burmo things where he stood out in a poor setting? Like, I hope so, because watching Newcastle, I just thought Newcastle were terrible, and has
Mm.
he been totally hot, like much better than Livramento? And Livramento, I think, has been poor, and I don't like. I think Lewis Hall probably should have gone to the World Cup just because of the left back options that are there, but that's the only reason. I wasn't like shouting down the door like this is what he provides, this is who he is, this is what he should be doing. So I think for us, like it's a clear Luke Shaw passing the baton on in it. It's like he
Yeah,
seems like a stocky young kid who drives forward, gets back, and he seems to do all that stuff really well. But I I look to our fullbacks in general, and it's like I want to know what the theory is behind it, because if we're going down the midfield, let's say if they want to go more technical, what are the fullbacks going to look like? Because PSG just overhauled the whole thing with Mendes and Hakimi. So
yeah,
what's the profile there? That's my only thing. So if they want to wait and get the right person who's a bit of a risk or a bit of a difference maker, a different type of player, then do that. But yeah, I again don't know enough about him to really sling my hat on it. I'd be happy with it, but not if it inhibits other business. If we spend too much and it inhibits everywhere else, I'd be a bit annoyed by that.
yeah. I think it's always been midfield first, and then wherever we go from there, whether it's a
Exactly.
left or a left winger. I am quite strong on Lewis Hall because I think he's got different aspects in terms of he's very good on the inside. He can come in, he can be technical and get on the ball if we need him to do that. I don't think that's necessarily something Carrick's gonna want us to do next season, but I also think he can just go around the outside
Mm,
of Digne or Dorgu or whoever it is, and put in them crosses. I think it's difficult because Newcastle were pretty bland last season to watch,
yeah,
and it's difficult to stand out as a fullback in that team. So it, it's a tricky one because it is going to be high valuation as well. We could
yeah.
probably achieve as well, or the lad at Bournemouth, the left back, what's it called?
True fair. True
Yeah,
fair, yeah.
he's really dynamic, he's really aggressive, but it's probably at half of the price of a Lewis Hall.
Yeah. But
Um,
that's the thing with Lewis Hall is it's kind of like
technically,
yeah, exactly. But I think I look at Lewis Hall, I'm like, okay, well, it's it's kind of easy to stand out in a bad team, and he hasn't done that. So I haven't really like when I've watched Newcastle, I've not thought that's a top player there, or that's like the reason they're not losing the way that they are. I know he's a left back. So, I mean, how much can you influence the game from left back? But it's like there's been a lot of people say this. I've just not seen it. Like maybe I'm not looking in the right areas, but like Cunha and Burma, you stood out. Like I know that they were forward players, so it's easy to like quantify their influence, so to speak. But like his team at Wolves was terrible, and he still scored 20 goals. Like that's exciting. But also, I
yeah,
think one thing I'd like to look at with Lewis Hall, again, I've not looked at it enough, but I was totally against the Kirkegge deal when we were linked with him because I thought that was just never going to work. Hall has a couple of years on him, I think, in terms of development, so I don't think it will go like that. But I'm not seeing too much of a difference, I suppose. And then wearing the United shirt, like you can just escape in a Newcastle shirt. You just can. So I think I'd need to see more of the intangible bits to his game. Like, is he demanding the ball? Is he making those runs, or is he hiding? Like, for all this talk about Scott McTominay now, I know they're not the same player, but everyone says, "Oh, we should never have sold him." The man never showed for the ball, and he wasn't ready for doing what he should have done at United. Like, fair play, go and do what you've done at Napoli, but that shows the levels between the two leagues, not the level in the player and the background. Like, that's you where you're supposed to be. So is Lewis Hall where he's supposed to be? I don't know, because Cunha and Burma, all them, they had to leave. They weren't where they're supposed to be. Especially Lamens was the perfect example, really, because he saved penalties. He came out for the ball. He would shout at his veteran captain, telling him where to go. That's the kind of player I want. Like, is Lewis Hall that guy? I don't know. I don't know is the answer. So I need to see that. If he is that, go get him. But if not, I think like you mentioned Truffert. Truffert's had a really good season. Bournemouth have had a great season. So I'm taking him with a pinch of salt, like with Rayan and Krupi earlier. But I think like who was the other one I mentioned? Juve is wrong. He would not be right to
Yeah,
United at all. But I just think there could be options out there in the rest of the world that we're not looking at, which because for me, left back is just a bit more of an efficient position. If you're good at it, if you know your job, you should be able to translate that quite well in various different leagues. So I'm not entirely certain we need to shop at home for that one. I think we could maybe look elsewhere, but yeah, that's just me. I think I could be wrong.
yeah, it's balancing it up, isn't it? I think I've seen Lewis Hall play live a couple of times, and he seems like he demands the ball in terms
Right.
of my one criticism was that he tried to do too much sometimes. I've seen him in that Newcastle team try and go down blind alleys, probably
Yeah.
because he had no one to kind of lay it off to.
Yeah.
Um, but he's also showing his willing and his
Okay.
technicality
Yeah.
on that side. But like you said, there is probably a fullback on the market somewhere, maybe in France or
Yeah.
Portugal, who is the next Nuno Mendes or Hakimi.
Yeah. I tell you who I like. Have you watched Maxi Araujo much?
Yeah, I've seen
Maximiliano Araujo.
it's
He
in
plays for Sporting,
the
so everyone's scared of going back to Sporting for
yeah,
a player. But he's brilliant for Uruguay last night, and I think he is top. So like
yeah,
that's an exciting one. But do you know what's dumb? And I know this with myself. Like, if his name was a bit sexier, I think I'd be all over it. But the fact, do you know what is? It's the perception of a player. So I think like with him, I just want to see like. I'll go back and watch him more because I clearly have to. But if he's demanding the ball, if he's shouting where he is, if he's trying to dictate the play from his side, if he's smart enough to sense a game and know when to get back, cool, that's fine. If he's not doing any of those things, I don't bother. Like, I'm not like, we've got Dallo, who's already a bit of a liability because he doesn't do that. We
yeah,
don't need another one. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
so yeah, that's my view on Hall, I think.
Yeah. It's fair, isn't it? I think it's going to be interesting these next couple of weeks. I
Yeah.
think we'll probably see a bit of a lull. We might get a Fernandez deal in the next
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Well,
And then
I
after
mean,
that, I think,
it's so fine. Liverpool haven't signed anyone. It's like Arsenal have barely looked in the market. It's like we've already got a deal pretty much done. We want everything yesterday. Like, it's June. The season ended like less than a month ago. Let's all
yeah,
relax. Like, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, I think.
yeah, yeah. I back Ineos to get it done. Like you say, the
So do I.
players that get in last year have,
Yeah.
have done their job and probably overperformed in terms of Lamens. Incredible signing, really, for the
Yeah.
value. So I'm excited. World Cup, then we had a quick chat in the off camera in terms of
Yeah.
we're both knackered from
Yeah. Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
What have we watched? Where are you at with it? What have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've watched the majority of the games, like the ones that, barring the ones that kick off beyond 3 a.m. That's when I tap out. I can't do them.
Yeah.
But I've watched like the Brazil Morocco's, the Scotland Haiti. Annoyingly, I fell asleep 10 minutes before Ahmad's winner against Ivory Coast. I was so
Oh,
angry with myself, but like it's been a good World Cup. I think it's been more about the stories than the football, which is a bit weird at this stage. Like
yeah.
the the Iran problems and like what they've been saying about how they've been treated, the fans, like how they're getting on with it. I think Japan have been a credit to the world again. That's the one shining light I'm looking at, being like, yeah, that's brilliant. Curacao, I think, have been brilliant as well, like the fans. And I think the biggest thing has been Cape Verde, like the goalkeeper. I think that's one of the greatest stories of all time, like in football
Incredible.
history. Like I think wasn't the man picking like litter at 25 years old and became a professional at 26. Like it's unbelievable. And now I love how we've all just kind of like rallied around him, and he's got like 8 million plus followers on Instagram, and he's just like living his best life. So now his whole life has changed, his whole family's life has changed, but at the same time, his parents weren't even allowed in because they didn't get visas. It's such a sad little state of affairs. And the games themselves, like I think the hydration breaks, I've done them a bit of a disservice because, like, I do think they destroy momentum, and I think it's irritating the hell out of me because I'm being told to buy a laptop 3 times a game, and I don't want to. Like, do you know what I mean? It is an ad break. It's not a hydration break. It takes
Yeah.
5 seconds to take a drink, not 3 minutes. We all know what it is, but I think what's really interesting is that it does change the tide every single time. So I'm not backing it. I don't think we should do it, but it does mean the games are more intense. Like I think the refereeing, despite some VAR calls, well, just in the first game, really,
Mm,
despite that, I think the refereeing has been phenomenal. Like they are
yeah.
hurrying you up for throw-ins, hurrying you up for corners, like hurrying you up for substitutions, and it's just constant. So when a game's on at midnight, 2 a.m., I'm actually watching a game of football. Like even if it's a bad game, there's still something. Do you know what I mean? It's bad because the players are bad, not because dark arts are ruining it. So I think it's brilliant, really, and the way they've been officiated. But it's overall, I still think it needs to kick into life a bit. It needs an upset because right now Cape Verde draw against Spain, it is an upset, but we need a winning upset. Like if Senegal go and beat France, that's an upset. That's huge. Or if Argentina play later, I don't know who against, but if they lose, sick. That's an upset. And frankly, if England lose, that's an upset. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking to one of them to happen, and frankly, I don't think England will have a good tournament anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, it needs an upset to kick into gear. I think that's the one thing it's missing.
Yeah. It, this because of the dilution of the quality by just bringing in loads more teams.
Yeah,
On one hand, it's really exciting because you get like Curacao when they scored, it was
yeah.
like the most jubilant I've ever seen a
No,
football team.
it's
But
incredible that
then,
honestly.
but then they Germany go the other end and just destroy them, which
And
is
but they don't care. They didn't even care. That's the best thing. But to that point, the reason I love that is because I was a bit skeptical at the beginning. I thought you were diluting what it means to be in the World Cup, but really, like I don't know who made this point. It's probably Jamie Carragher, unfortunately, but it was a good point where it was like it's not like the Champions League where you're showcasing the best of the world. It's you're bringing the world together, and we're not seeing the far corners of the world being represented the way they should have done. And he is right by that because there aren't enough African nations, there aren't enough Asian nations or Caribbean nations. And now for Cape Verde just to have that shot, and it's just that, like the Bosnia thing is the most inspiring thing I've seen at a World Cup ever in my lifetime. I think it's unbelievable. But I harbor dreams one day that India will make it to a World Cup, whether that'll be in my lifetime. I'd love to be involved in it somehow. Like I'd love to see what that looks like. But
yeah,
that this World Cup makes it feel possible because if a nation of 150,000 people can hold Spain, European giants, European champions, then why can't a country of 1 billion people do it? Like I'm sure there's a way, and China must be thinking the same because they've fallen off the way that they have. Like and Indonesia must be thinking it, Taiwan, like all these different countries must be thinking the same thing, and there's a route now, so it's nice that they've given them a route. It's all money driven, obviously. Obviously, I'm not stupid. Of course, it's money driven, but it's just for the people. If I'm a Cape Verdean watching that game, that's one of the best moments of my life. Whereas if England beat whoever their first game is against, they won't remember it. I can't remember the last World Cup, so they'll remember that for the rest of their lives, which I think is the whole. But that's the point. I think that's the point of the World Cup.
yeah. It's you've got the background stuff of Infantino and the
Mm,
ticket pricing, and that's been nothing short of a disgrace in my eyes
mm,
because if you look at the original bid that America put in, or the USA and the Mexico, the ticket prices are about 20% of what they've actually turned out to be, which
yeah,
for me is it's ludicrous that that's been allowed to happen. And then you look at the teams like the Curacao and whoever it might be. how many of their fans are being priced out of going to these
Yeah,
games because it's 5, 6, £700 a ticket. So it's
yeah.
such a conflict because I don't think it's a massive drama having one team that isn't that good and you know you're going to beat. Like Germany went into that game probably knowing we could probably play the second string. We're going to beat them,
Mhm.
and it is what it is. But for them to get that goal, it will go down in history, that goal.
I mean,
So
why?
it's worth
Yeah,
having as a dynamic.
exactly. But why do we love the FA Cup? Is it like we talk
That's it.
about it being the magic of the FA Cup? Well, it's the magic of the World Cup, and it's not. You know, upsets are the whole point of sport. Like we love a comeback story, we love an underdog. Like that's literally the whole point. I don't see. No one likes people winning all the time. They hated us when we won all the time. Totally understandable. I hate City for numerous reasons. Don't like the fact that they win everything and the way they're winning it. But like everyone hates Real Madrid for the same reason. Like it's boring. But then when Atletico Madrid won it that year, or when Leicester won it our year, or when Greece won Euro 2004, or when all these things happen, it's like it makes sense. But there's a really good it's not a documentary, it's like a film, a remake basically of the events where it's about Mexico 86, how they won that World Cup bid. It's exactly the same, and it's like you see how just disgustingly like fake the whole system is. But
Yeah,
I think when USA did it in 94, they did it back then, it was under the thing that all right, we're going to have the MLS. It's going to be better. We're going to have better stadiums, better facilities, better transport links was in that manifesto as well. Obviously, that didn't happen. It was also going to be, better national team, and we were going to take soccer seriously. And the the MLS has gotten much better. They don't have promotion relegation, but that's just a US thing. We
yeah,
can't adjudicate that. But they've gone from being a retirement league to actually their team is good. Like it's not the
it's
best in the
good.
world,
Yeah,
but compared to 94, name one player from that team. I can name you like 10 from this current team. Like Weston McKennie's a good player. Pulisic is a good player.
yeah,
Tyler Adams, a Premier League player. Anthony Robinson, a Premier League player. Like they've gone from just being a retirement league full of goalkeepers because they had good goalkeepers for whatever reason to
yeah,
actually a fully fledged team. And Pochettino being that manager is a big one. But it's just the whole tournament. And this isn't a new thing. Let's face it. South Africa had it. Russia had it. Qatar had it. Politics run football. It's not. This isn't new to the US, but every single one of those tournaments opened their arms. Russia
yeah,
opened their arms more than the US. That doesn't the home of the brave and the land of the free. How?
yeah,
How? It's just pathetic. So once that orange idiot goes, it'll be done. Like he won't come back. This would have been a lovely World Cup, lovely vibes if Obama was there. Would have been even lovelier if God, I can't remember who he beat to win it now. I've forgotten the name, but like had he lost his election, it would have been a lot better than what it is. Maybe not Biden, but the other one, Kamala Harris. That's it. That would have been so much nicer.
yeah,
But yeah, it's been so yeah. Sorry, roundabout way to answer your question. It's been fun to watch as a World Cup, but yeah, it's just this feels a bit more in your face on reasons not to like it than reasons to like it, which is taking the shine off it a bit.
yeah. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? I think a World Cup is always magical. You just hope you get a few moments along the way. I think the Raul Jimenez one on the opening day
Oh,
was brilliant
amazing!
as well. I've
I
got a bit
nearly
of a
cried. I thought that was
spot
incredible. Yeah.
because I've been a few times and the culture and all
Mm.
of that. It's exceptional. But yeah, I'm hoping we just get quite a few moments like that, which
Yeah,
kind of overshadow. By the end of the tournament, we look back and say, right, we've
exactly.
had some really good football,
Well,
and
because South Africa was exactly the same, wasn't it? Like the build up to South Africa was dreadful, like apartheid, and still
appears to
some
get that
states were
well,
observing it. That was straight up a racist policy. That's like it's still here, like whether you like it or not. And then Shabalala scores, and that was it. It just complete it. Like was it Peter Drury that was like goal for South Africa, goal for all Africa. Like, that one line summed up the whole tournament, and everyone jumped in it. The songs were good, like everyone felt good, but it felt like everyone was together there. This unfortunately feels like we're in America's house and we have to abide by their rules, whereas just having like a nice open space for everyone to enjoy themselves doesn't feel like that. Whether and it's all perception. We're in a new media age, new like bad news travels faster than good news, so it's always that. But yeah, it's hard to escape it, and I just know that Trump will end up he'll lift the trophy in it. He'll
uh,
go there and lift it.
day that he's allowed to be right front and center,
How?
which is
How? And FIFA
is
gave him the Peace Award, and he sent them to war with Iran like 3 weeks later. It's that bit I don't get. I just don't understand it, but, hey, that's the world, isn't it? Like, there's
yeah.
nothing we can do about it, unfortunately.
No, that's it. And like I say, I hope we'll just get some magical moments, and it
Yeah.
kind of goes to the back of our minds, really. Right before we close it off, because Senegal and France kicks off in a couple of minutes.
Well, yeah,
Who
please.
who's your who's your winner, and who is your dark horse that you've seen so far?
Dark
Who got your
horse I've seen so far would probably be, I think Japan undersold themselves. I think they can be a lot better than what they were.
yeah
Dark horse though, I think would probably have to be Morocco. They're the
yeah?
best performing, like, smaller nation, let's say. Even though
Ade
they've
was a sensation, wasn't he, in that
yeah,
game?
but they got to the semis last time, so they're not, like, out the blue, but I actually think Senegal tonight. I think Senegal are a really good dark horse for the tournament. If I had to pick one, go on, I'll say Senegal because we haven't seen them yet. And then I think Portugal are gonna win it. Like, I've just got a
At the same, yeah.
feeling. I just think that it's primed. It is primed for them to win it. Best midfield in the world, good links everywhere, still got Ronaldo knocking about. Just don't let the manager and Ronaldo ruin it for them. Like,
Yeah.
I think it really could be a special one for them if they get it right.
I think if they just manage that Ronaldo situation,
Yeah,
bring in and out as required,
yeah,
they've got everything. They've got the fullbacks, they've got the keeper, they've got the midfield.
yeah,
It's just that dynamic, isn't it, with
yeah.
Ronaldo?
It's gonna be a
And
very interesting one, but I think it's gonna be it'll be. I don't think England will go far at all. Like, I've
no,
no
that's
faith in.
not England, but I'm probably in the same camp where I'm not inspired by what I'm seeing from them.
No,
I never really am, but
no, exactly. But Portugal for me, I'm going for it. I think they'll
yeah,
win it.
yeah. I did that. Do you know the predictor where you go through the group stage and through
Yeah.
to the knockouts? I did that like 3 or 4 times and ended up with Portugal.
Really?
So it's just, yeah, I just think the midfield for me, Bruno
Yeah.
Fernandes is coming off the back of an exceptional season, and then
Mm.
Vitinha and Neves it's
Yeah.
next level, isn't it? So
Yeah, I think it'd be big. So, no, I think Portugal as well.
yeah, we'll see. We might look back and it might be Japan, and then
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah,
up there. But yeah, lovely to speak to you, mate.
yeah.
Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so DevFC pretty much on all socials now. I've even got a Facebook, so yeah, just throw a little follow it on all them.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. We'll try and do one when we've kicked off the season with United atop of the league, and we'll see how we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we need to do a round two for.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Lovely. Thank you for coming on. And people, thank you for watching. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, and go and follow Dev on all platforms. I will see you in the next one.
Nice.